Hello, everyone. My name is Kristin Kaufman. For those of you who have not had the opportunity to meet, I'm the CEO and founder of a company by the name of Alignment Inc., which is all about helping individuals, teams, groups, boards of directors, and organizations to become aligned. And my definition of alignment, just to frame this, is when you love what you do, you're good at it, but most importantly, it's tied to something greater than yourself. And when that happens, we are most definitely at our most powerful, and our entire organization actually is at their most powerful as well. So today I actually wanted to cover something that my clients have asked me to cover, and it's basically my top 10 suggestions or steps on how we can improve ourselves as we enter the summer months and certainly throughout the rest of the year. So I have 10 little steps that I wanted to walk through today to share with you. And certainly there's much more information on my website if you have interest in pursuing or diving further into some of these points. So I'm going to look down because I actually have them written down. I want to make sure that I cover each of them. So the first point is not going to be a surprise to anyone, but if we're trying to reach our potential and we're really trying to improve ourselves, the first thing is to obviously take care of our body. Our body is a temple. I'm a huge believer that how we treat our body is ultimately how we ultimately will show up in the world. When we feel good, we show up good, so to speak. So about, 8 months ago, I joined an organization, an online organization called E2M. Basically, it stands for Eager to Motivate. And it is an amazing online exercise program. And it's really a full body wellness program. It's not just exercise, so to speak, but it is also how we eat, how we take care of ourselves, our mind, body, spirit integration. And I lost close to 30 pounds on this E2M. I wasn't overweight, but I definitely was not. I was kind of soft and squishy. And since I've joined E2M, my body is definitely more firm, and I'm feeling way more energetic. And frankly, as I grow older, my energy is everything. I want to be relevant. I want to be on point. And I think taking care of our body is the first step to maintaining our health and our wellness, but obviously towards self-improvement. Okay, now I'm going to just walk through, none of these are in order, but I'm just going to walk through the other 9 tips that I've been integrating into my life probably for the last 20 years. And they have certainly helped me become the best I can be, or at least I'm on that quest. The second thing is, every year I like to encourage my clients, but I certainly have encouraged myself to go to one place in the world that I've never been to before. Now, frankly, during COVID, that was a little bit more difficult than now because we weren't able to travel as much, but we could still travel. And so I would go to small places. Like one of the places I went to recently was Marfa, which is a wonderful kind of eclectic town in West Texas, for those of you who don't know about it. And a friend of mine and I went, and we had a wonderful time. I've traveled to Bruges for Christmas last year. I'm going to Bali in a couple of weeks. So, again, you don't have to spend a lot of money to go overseas. It can be anywhere, even in your backyard. But I think the point that I want to make is when we expand ourselves and we stretch ourselves to go someplace that we've never been to before, our perspective most definitely changes, because it's real hard to stay stagnant when you are exposed to different cultures, different experiences, different people, different foods. And to me, that helps to expand our horizon, to use a cliche, but also just to give us a richer experience when we come back into our normal experience in life. The third tip. I'm a big and avid reader, and many of you all know that. I'm an ardent reader, not only of business books and nonfiction books, but I love spiritual books. I love self-help books, and I actually love novels that expand my perspective and give me a way of looking at life that perhaps I hadn't had before. So the third tip is every month I read at least, normally it's more than this, 2 books that I've not read before. And I try very hard, at least now in my older years, to not just focus on business and self-help books. I really want to have books that are, creative, and they give me a different perspective on life. So I read everything from Anne Lamott to Stephen Covey to just you name it, I've read it. And there is an entire list, a library of books that I recommend to my followers on my website. So if you're interested, I certainly will post my website underneath this, and you can go there and actually look at my library recommendations. Okay, the fourth tip. I'm an ardent believer in having a spiritual practice. And this spiritual practice does not have to be what I'm going to call conventional. It certainly can be anything that really fills you up. I meditate every morning. I do centering prayer every morning. I like to do yoga because it centers me, and it certainly gives me the mind, body, spirit connection that I think my body craves. But every day, without fail, I start off my day with a centering prayer and meditation. So whatever your spiritual practice is, I think starting off your day that way gives you a grounding, and it gives you a perspective that can't be rocked by the world. And obviously, many of us do face challenges every day in our work life and just life in general. But when you start off with a tie to a higher power and a higher spiritual energy, it gives you a grounding wire, or at least it has me throughout my life. And I try to end my day in the same way. So I try to end my day with a centering prayer. Often I will write in a gratitude journal, but I'm not religious about that, no pun intended. But I do obviously thank the divine creator for all of the blessings, and I try to end every day with that. So that is my fourth tip. Whatever makes sense to you spiritually, I think integrating that practice into your life is incredibly important. Okay, the fifth tip. I'm a big believer in we are the company we keep. My mother reared my sister and I with that concept. And that means surrounding yourself with people that can help you be the best you can be. And that's not yes people. That's not people that tell you that, you're perfect as you are. They challenge us. They push us. And I work with my clients actually around building a personal board of directors, which there are key individuals that have the seats in that board of directors, which I won't go into today. But again, if you're interested in that, reach out to me and I'm more than happy to provide it. But the personal board of directors and surrounding yourself with people with various skills, approaches, perspectives that can augment and extend your life in a way that perhaps you don't have within your 2 ears. That to me has been absolutely one of the most critical success factors in my career, not to mention my life. And they range anywhere from my spiritual teachers to my esoteric advisors to my professional clients, my professional coaches, my exercise coaches, my wellness coaches, my friends, and certainly in the past, my family. Most of you know I've lost my family except for my sister. So, but those individuals were certainly integral to creating the human being that I am today, and still do continue to contribute to who I am. The sixth tip, and this is again straight from my parents: give back, volunteer and give back. It's sort of amazing how alchemically, when we give back to others, how it's next to impossible to feel sorry for ourselves or to focus on our own, shortcomings or things that we've not been able to accomplish yet in our life. And there's something very rejuvenating when you give back, and that could be anything. That could be working at the Ronald McDonald House. That could be taking cake or cookies to your neighbors who are shut-ins. It could be reaching out to someone over the phone that you've not talked to for a while. So giving back and or volunteering does not have to be, every week I'm going to go to the food bank and I'm going to volunteer canning food or boxing up canned food for 2 or 3 hours. It doesn't have to be that legalistic. You can volunteer and give back in ways that are personal to you, and it can be different every week. But I do believe that integrating some practice like that in our lives will do nothing but lift all the boats, including our own. Okay, number 7, and this is going to be a little bit more, I'm going to say tactical, but it has made a difference in my life. So as part of the E to M program that I mentioned at the very beginning, part of that program is to drink a gallon of water every day. And that just seems like, oh my gosh, really? A gallon of water every day? But I will tell you, I've been doing that now for about 8 months. And I drink my Mountain Valley water. This is my hometown from Hot Springs, Arkansas. And I've had that shipped to my house since 1983. But drinking a gallon of water, it's unbelievable the change that it's made in my life. My skin, my joints, all the toxins, because let's face it, we all have toxins in our body, whether it be from what we eat or what we drink. but drinking that water flushes it out, and I just have better energy. And I think my skin looks healthier, my hair looks healthier. So integrate that. 1 gallon of water a day. It's easier than you think. I drink probably at least half of that before noon. So I get it out of the way before noon. Okay. Number 8. And I kind of touched on this a moment ago when I talked about spiritual practices, and I'm going to extend this a little bit. I call it my morning ritual. So above and beyond the meditation, the centering prayer, I have a morning ritual, and it's how I start my day, and it's how I organize my day. I have a very deliberate approach to my day. Part of that's because my Myers-Briggs archetype is one that needs and wants structure. Not that I can't be spontaneous and not that I can't color outside the lines, but I like to have a morning ritual where I organize how I'm going to spend my time, and I'm going to prioritize where and how I want to spend my time. So I do think integrating some sort of a morning ritual in addition to your spiritual practice helps to frame your day. And that could be anything. For me, it used to be walking my dog Lulu. Now I don't have a dog anymore, but I do have my morning ritual with my exercise every single morning. And then I come upstairs and I have a structure that I have, a list of things that I want to accomplish. And then I begin my day. And there's something about framing your day at the beginning of the day that helps us to accomplish what it is that we set forth to accomplish. The last point that I will make, and this is the point, I actually have 2 more points. This is number 9. Do the thing that you are most afraid to do. And, people used to say that to me, and frankly, I would kind of roll my eyes thinking, really? Of course, I'm going to do the things that I want to push myself to do. But it wasn't till I really stretched myself in writing my first book where I was scared of rejection. I was scared that people were going to think it was a lightweight book or that it wasn't well written. But I did the thing that I was most afraid to do, but yet I was called to do. And boy, does that liberate you. Because when you do the thing that you're most afraid to do, you realize how strong you are. You realize that conviction trumps everything. When you're convicted to contributing in the world in a way that's authentic to you, it trumps the fear. It just trumps the fear. So that would be my 9th tip. Do the thing that you are most afraid to do. And that could be anything. That could be traveling overseas by yourself. It could be buying your first house. It could be writing your first book. Whatever it is that you feel called to do and that you want to do, but you're afraid to do, I'm encouraging you to take that step, take that leap, because you will never regret it. And the last tip, and this is the tip that I work with my clients at the beginning of every engagement that I work with, and that is writing your own personal manifesto. And that sounds so grandiose, and I don't mean for it to. But when I say writing your own personal manifesto, this is writing the life that you want to create in your life. So writing it down. I was actually challenged to do this about 20 years ago when I left corporate and I was coming out on my own, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it. And my coach said, I want you to write a letter to someone that's really important to you. And I want you to write it as if it's 1 year in the future and you're looking back as where you are, and you're writing it as if you were already there. And I'm going to tell you, I've shared this a lot with clients in the past. So if you've heard this before, you're going to hear it again. I wrote that letter to my parents, and I wrote it very explicitly, down to what I was doing in the morning, what my day looked like, the types of people I worked with, how I was contributing in the world, what my vocation looked like, not down to like what company I was working for, because at the time I didn't really know. I actually became an entrepreneur, but I wrote it as if the life that I was living was the life that I wanted to create. And I found that letter the year after my father passed away in his office. And I pulled out that letter, and lo and behold, if I had not created that exact life that I had written about in that letter. So never underestimate the power of intention and the power of writing it down. So your personal manifesto is what you want your life to look like in all aspects of your life. That's family, that's financial, that's vocation, it's your health, it's where you live, it's your experience. And when you write that down as if it were already there, the universe undeniably will rise up to meet you. So those are my top 10 tips for self-improvement. I did this at the request of my clients. If you're interested in delving into this in any more detail, I'd love to hear from you. Just feel free to reach out to me on my website below. And again, thank you so much for joining me, and make it a great day wherever you are. And let's just live the very best life that we can. We only get one. And I think it's our sacred responsibility to make the most of it. Thank you again so much for tuning in.